everyone, this is Angela and welcome to my channel. Please be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and click the notifications bell so that you will know whenever I upload any new content. I know that it's been a while since I have uploaded new content. It's because I've been traveling literally from Huntington Beach, California to South Beach in Miami, Florida, and it was for some much needed vacay. I hope that all of you have been well in my absence. I hope that everyone is doing fine, and I'm glad to be back. So a few days ago, I was watching some content by Nylah Vibes, and shout out to her. Nylah was commenting on a video segment presented by Kendra D of the Crimson Cure. I invite everyone to take a look at Nylah's live, and I've also included a link to it in the description box. So let's take a look at this video.
Ain't nobody blaming you for going to that little raggedy community college you're doing. Ain't nobody mad at you for going to get that little $60,000 a year job of yours. Ain't nobody mad at you for that. What we mad at you for is that you stepped on black men and children to get there. That's what we mad about. That you didn't care about the destruction of the family to get there. That's what we mad about. That you threw the black community under the bus that you were supposed to be part of in order to get. And that you did it with a smile on your face. And then you did it with arrogance. You gave black men and black children your butt to kiss for 70 years. That's why we're angry with you.
70 years. I've done this for 70 years.
Okay, Nylah's video, or Nylah's live, is about close to 2 hours long, I believe. And I agree with her overall perspective. That is of Nylah's assessment of what Crimson Cure stated. And I also saw an opportunity to add an economic angle to it, which is what I'm doing today. And bit of disclaimer, this video is not about changing Crimson Cure's mind or going after her followers or anything. It's not like that. It's not like that. What this is about is to compare what she stated about black women betraying the black community. Compare her statement to the economic reality. That's what this video is about, okay? And it's a piggyback off of Nylah Vibes' assessment as well. So when I compare Crimson Cure's statements that we just witnessed to the economic reality, it just doesn't add up. It doesn't mesh smoothly. And in fact, it is a myth. However, it is not in the black woman's favor to allow such myths to go unchallenged, considering that it historically becomes another obstacle for us to climb over. So as a piggyback to Nylah Vibes' live about Crimson Cure, I will begin by saying that what we are witnessing collectively at this present time is the economic collapse of the secondary beneficiaries in Blackistan. So, okay, I know, a mouthful, right? So who are the secondary beneficiaries? And in Blackistan of all places? Well, let's get right into it. So what are secondary beneficiaries? I think it will be better explained if we step out of Blackistan for a moment and see how other communities operate. See, outside of Blackistan, life insurance policies are normal. Having a plan is normal. Having a will is normal. Leaving a legacy for the next generation is normal. So before I continue on that, let me get back to the life insurance policy. So in terms of a life insurance policy, the person that's paying for the policyholder, is also known as a payer. And the person or the people who will gain funds from the life insurance policy upon the payers or the policyholders passing are known as survivors or beneficiaries. So, in terms of life insurance, if a breadwinner is a policyholder and that person dies, then the policy will continue to provide income to the survivors. And typically, when we're talking about a breadwinner, there's usually a homemaker in the picture. So if the breadwinner dies, the homemaker will use the income so that she, because typically the homemaker is going to be a woman, she can continue to support and nurture the household. Life insurance is intended to make it seem, at least financially, that everything has remained intact for the homemaker. Okay. So in this situation, the homemaker would be the beneficiary, a primary beneficiary. But if something also happens to the homemaker, an example of this would be like a car accident where both the breadwinner and the homemaker perish. And let's say they have children. Then the children are the secondary beneficiaries. Okay? Now, let's step aside for a minute because I know I just said a lot right there. I know that a lot of people place a heavy emphasis on providing finances and being a breadwinner to the extent that people actually believe that the one and only way to express maturity is to be a provider. And this is not true. The breadwinner and the homemaker are equally vital in sustaining a family. Both the breadwinner and the homemaker are adult roles that have executive or administrative responsibilities attached to them. In terms of insurance, this is true because if something were, for instance, to happen to the homemaker and leaving the breadwinner behind, then the provider or the breadwinner would be in a world of trouble. That's because in 2022, the estimate of a stay-at-home parent's salary, if they were truly compensated for everything that they did within the household, would be more than $200,000 a year. So not only would he, the breadwinner, because usually it's going to be a man, usually it's going to be the husband, not only would he have to be responsible for providing the same income as before, but he would also need to cover more than $200,000 worth of specialized labor in order to maintain order in the home. It is for this reason that many life insurance companies offer plans that provide stipends for survivors so that they can get food, hire people to clean and do their laundry, hire people to clean their homes and also to do their laundry, hire people to transport their children to and from school, deliver groceries, hire consultants to organize their home, and so forth, in the event that a homemaker dies. So now that we have an understanding of how a normal community works and how a normal community sees things, let's return back to the Black community, aka Blackistan. In Blackistan, the majority of breadwinners are women, Black women. Unlike what Crimson Cure implied, this is by circumstance and not by choice. Black women are providing the food, the shelter, the transportation, health, dental, automobile, rental, and home insurance policies. They are paying for the cell phone plans, cable and Netflix, Wi-Fi, and so forth, just like a traditional breadwinner. Black women, in addition to being the breadwinners, they are also the supporters and the nurturers or the homemakers as well. You see, this is uncommon in many parts of the world for one person to take on both roles. But in Blackistan, Black women are working overtime on the jobs as providers because no one will provide for them. And then they are turning around as the homemakers and dropping off and picking up children from school. They're caring for their aging parents and the aging parents of their spouse or their baby daddy or whatnot, and other vulnerable family members. So if the majority of black women are breadwinners, and also the majority of black women are doubling as homemakers, from this perspective, this means that the collective of black women are the only functioning adults in the community. This means that the majority of everyone else within the black community are performing as secondary beneficiaries. This means that they are either the black woman's actual children or they are functioning as the black woman's children. This completely refutes the claim that Crimson Cure has made about black women stepping on the heads of black men and children, allegedly. In fact, the average black woman has doubled down and performed in two roles simultaneously in an effort to keep the community intact. The evidence can be found. It is in the names listed on leases, mortgages, real estate taxes, utilities, and other bills that are paid to sustain a home. Think about it. Whose names are primarily on those documents? Whose accounts are primarily used in paying the bills for them? Because therein lies the truth as to who has really invested in and sustained the black community for the past 70 years that Crimson Cure referred to versus those who did not care at all. Whose name is popping up on the caller ID whenever a Dusty makes a phone call? Y'all know what I'm talking about because you either are related to a Dusty or you know a Dusty. And Dusty, your Dusty cousin, for instance, calls to bum $20 off of you. And when he calls you, a woman's name pops up on the caller ID because he's unable to get a phone in his own name. He doesn't have a driver's license that's valid or state issued ID. It's expired. So essentially, he has to depend on a web of people to act on his behalf. Sounds just like a child, right? Let's talk about this a little bit more. Because a lot of times I hear this accusation floating around of the roles between the men and the women in Blackistan being reversed. And I can see how many may form that conclusion due to their lack of economic insight. However, I don't agree with it, and here's why. Responsibility. It's true that it's uncommon for the breadwinner in a household to be a woman for a variety of reasons. It's true that a man is typically not a homemaker or a nurturer for a variety of reasons. However, in either capacity, breadwinner or homemaker, both people have to be responsible, and both people can be held legally liable for their decisions and the choices that they make, either on their household or with their children. When a woman is a breadwinner, it does not negate her from being a feminine being. She's still behaving as an adult and performing in an executive manner. If one were to ask me where I see the reversal of the roles, it is actually between the children and the Dusties. Because Dusties, true, they are the chronological age of adults, over 18 that is, but are failing to perform as adults as far as securing and maintaining resources for a family. The only adult action that many of them have convinced themselves of as being an accomplishment of sorts is reproductive activity. I mean, seriously. So therefore, for economic purposes, Dusties are functioning as children. Many of them are not earning an income or adequately nurturing or supporting others. Many Dusties do not have their own residences. They don't have any utilities in their names. They don't have cars or houses or businesses, no professional licenses, passports, nothing to show that they have autonomy over themselves. So from an economic standpoint, they are role reversing with children, not other adults. They are not role reversing with black women. In fact, they are not even role splitting with black women. Okay. They are not role reversing with other groups of men. They are not role reversing with women of other groups. They are role reversing with children. Most men outside of Blackistan would be ashamed to be seen without what is considered to be the basics for sustaining themselves and a family. However, in Blackistan, black women are being shamed, allegedly, for doing the best that they can with the cards that they've been dealt. Okay? The backbones of black women have been holding up able bodied adult males and all of their enablers for ages. Yes, I said it. The Dusty is the obvious clown in the picture. However, who are the others? Who are the other ones that are also going to freeze this winter right along with them? Who are the other secondary beneficiaries who have also benefited from the income that the average black woman brought to the table along with the chairs and the food to put on top of it? Okay. Who else has benefited from the money that Keisha gained? Keisha is the average black woman. Okay. Who benefited from the money that Keisha brought to the table from working 2 jobs and going to school while earning her quote unquote little old, degree from the community college? Okay. So let's go down the list of these secondary beneficiaries, these secondhand folks. So let's start with the biggest Dusty of them all, the Rolling Stone, the sperm donor, the Dusty's deadbeat dad. He's the obvious secondhand person that's benefiting. This dude is, he left his own kid with the mother and left them to fend for themselves. He's so dusty. Now, speaking of the mother is oftentimes a culprit too in this situation because she knows that her dusty son has issues and she's tired of dealing with him. Every time she sees him, she sees the ways of his sorry old sperm donor in him. She's disappointed. So she may smile in his face and claim that she loves him, but in reality, she's ready for the smell of his feet and underarms to get out of her house. So, as soon as she meets a Keisha, she's smiling in Keisha's face, pretending to get close to her and everything. But in reality, she wants Keisha to take this dude off her hands. So let's keep going on down the list of his enablers, including his side chicks. And this is 2022, side dudes as well. His homeboys, his children with different baby mamas, although the children are not necessarily a Dusty's enabler. However, he will use some of Keisha's money to get things from them and for them instead of being a man and earning an income to properly support them. So they are also secondary beneficiaries too, right? So some of his baby mamas as well. All of these secondary beneficiaries, these secondhand folks, have been receiving Keisha's resources for ages. So when Keisha is the average black woman, left a Dusty in his patch of dirt and removed her unreciprocated, unappreciated, often devalued support, it has caused a major earthquake in Blackistan. And a lot of these secondhand folks, have been destabilized right along with the Dusty. And that's not all. That's not all. Retailers who cater to Blackistan have a few more years to go before they topple too. Most responsible grown men are not walking around in the adult version of Garanimals. And it was Keisha's income that benefited the places where Dusties would go and buy these outfits. So speaking of businesses that cater to Dusties, the Blame the Black Woman platforms on social media, along with their corresponding podcasts, are also feeling the shock. And they're in a panic. So let's take a look at an example of some of these secondary beneficiaries, these secondhand folks. Let's see how they're adapting now that Keisha has pulled the rug.
All right, stop, okay?
Tense moments over there at a nail salon in West Harris County after police say this woman just refused to pay after getting her nails done. It happened at a store on South Mason Road, and the woman punched a store employee and trashed the place. Now on the run, police are looking for her. Fox 26's Tiffany Justice spoke to an employee at the store, obviously still shaken up.
This is a video of a broke boom quita. That's what I'm going to call her. See, they're now appearing on the news more and more as violent offenders. They're desperate and they will hurt people or do worse. If you pay close attention, these women are wearing plain clothes now. Their hair and their fingernails are not styled, and they're not wearing any makeup or jewelry. That is because all of those services cost money, and the Dusty's well water has run dry because two job working and night class juggling Keisha has turned in her resignation notice, and everyone has to fend for themselves like the proper adults that they are. Here's a prime example of what I'm talking about. You see, she has robbed the nail salon for nearly $300 worth of services.
The employee says she was physically assaulted and the suspect threatened to kill her. The nail technician did not want her face shown.
It's scary because I never had that before.
Investigators with the Harris County Sheriff's Office needing the public's help to identify this woman who assaulted a nail tech at the salon in Katy and swindled them out of $280. The attack caught on video.
She has a bonnet on her head, y'all. Y'all, I know how to do hair. And I can actually open up a salon if I wanted to. But you know why I haven't? It's because I'm tired of people like her. Broke boom quitas. They make appointments for expensive services knowing that they don't have the money. And they will either cancel on the day of the appointment or they are a no-show. And that's if you're lucky. They waste your time, but at least you didn't perform any work on them. Okay? Or what's worse, they'll show up, they'll get their hair done, and then begin to argue with you, cause a scene, because in reality, they were not prepared to pay. They didn't have the money and they knew it. So many salon owners, especially hair braiders, are hip to the game and will either demand a down payment, or they want payment up front, or they'll do half your head and then demand the payment before completing the other half. So let's continue.
You can't do that. You have to let us cut the nail.
Yell at me again. Yell at me again.
You have to pay.
The employee telling Fox 26 she believes a woman came in knowing she couldn't pay, initially going over how much the nails would cost for what she was asking the nail technician to do.
When I start to do it, I ask her you have the money to pay? She say yes. And then I tell her the price. She say yes. You should do it like that.
Initially, she had the money, she was able to pay, and then when you were all done,
We tell her pay, and then she try to fight us.
the nail technician saying she gave the woman 3 options, including to take off the nails. The woman, believed to be in her early 20s, refused. They ultimately locked the doors and called 911. The nail tech says she was hit over the head several times.
You have to pay.
I already told you I can.
It's really hurt. And then she catch me I still have some scar.
The nails the suspect requested took 5 hours. The employee saying it was elaborate, long nails with 3D flowers. A close friend and longtime customer saddened by the attack, hoping someone can identify the woman.
I've been coming to her for 5 years. I've been a loyal customer. She does great work. I mean, they're great in here. They're awesome. It's unfair for her to be, or anybody else in this industry or anywhere you go, to be treated that way.
If you have any information about this case, you're asked to contact the Harris County Sheriff's Office Violent Crime Unit or Crime Stoppers at 713-222-TIPS. Reporting, Tiffany Justice, Fox 26 News.
Look at broke boom quita. She knew she didn't have the money to pay for the services. She went in there and wasted those people's time. She's the type of person that will get with the Dusty knowing full and well that he is lying to Keisha to get money for a legit reason, like to pay a bill or to help out a relative. But in reality, the Dusty is going to give Keisha's hard-earned money to broke boom quita. The Dusty will lie to Keisha and claim to need her car to help his mom run errands, but in reality, his goal is to impress broke Boomquita. There's nothing wrong with wanting to look good. I'm not trying to make it seem like it's wrong for her to go into the salon and get her nails done. There's nothing wrong with that. But the reality is that it costs money, and broke Boomquita is not willing to do what Keisha did when she struggled for 10 years before she got her degree. Broke Boomquita won't wear a $30 ponytail and do her own manicures and pedicures with 99-cent nail polish, saving her money until she can do better while keeping her legal record clear of theft charges. No, broke Boomquita does not want to get student loans, even to go to beauty school and put in the time and work to learn the trade so that she can look good at all times. Nope, she'd rather rob you and injure you if you attempt to hold her accountable. She's just raggedy, you know, and I hate it for the nail salon owner. She spent a good 5 hours inhaling acrylic dust, straining her fingers, straining her wrists, her neck, her eyes to decorate this broke Boomquita's nails with 3D art. Not only did she get stiffed, Boomquita also busted her over the head and scratched her up. Listen, I recommend that all nail salon owners just apply one fingernail, maybe a thumb or something like that, decorate it so they can see the work, and then demand payment, especially if the person that they are servicing is a brand new customer. And that goes for the hairstylist too. That way, if they are broke and they're trying to screw you over, then you won't have to suffer as big of a loss. You know, same for the hairstylist. As I said earlier, just do the basics before you apply the weave or start installing braids or twists or anything like that, just to make sure that you don't waste your day on a broke Boomquita. See, this Boomquita now has to pay for an Uber or get on a city bus in order to get around town, because Keisha, with her little degree and her little transportation, is not allowing the Dusty to have access to it. So if the Dusty doesn't have access, then Boomquita got to figure it out. That means she has to get a job and earn an income for food, or if she's on food stamps, no relief beyond what the state is giving her. The little extra $40 here and $100 there that the Dusty would rob Keisha to pay Boomquita has dried up. So let's go to the next video. I first saw this video on Sheila Truelove's channel. I like her. She is so Black woman positive. This is a video of a Keisha kicking out her Dusty of 4 years who couldn't bring $500 to the table for rent. In this video, you're going to see that the Dusty will admit to previously spending time in jail. He has a probation officer that she bought his clothes, the ones that she's going to be cutting up with a knife, and that he's living with her in her residence, and now she's kicking him out.
Shit, bro. Look at this shit. See what I'm saying? No, bro, chill out. You don't even got to look at her, bro. Look, bro, chill out, bro. Go on, bro. Why you trying to? No, get the out my fucking way. Why you trying to get the way? Why you tripping, though? Why you trying to cut my clothes, bro? You let me Tracy, bro, you tripping? No, I got it on camera. Let me bro. No, I'm trying to say, bro, look at her crazy, bro. You trying to get the out the way. All right, bro. I ain't saying you gonna sound touchy. Why you wanna cut my? Look at her, bro. She really wanna cut somebody. As you cut, that don't make no sense, bro. That's what I'm saying, man. What you mad for? What? So you gonna just throw my shit? You gonna toss my shit? What is you mad for though? Why you cut my shit? It don't matter. So you gonna cut my shit up, bro? Look at this crazy. Bro, look, she asked me, it don't matter, so you mad about you mad about one time, though. It's one time, stop cutting my shit up, though, bro. Can you stop cutting my, I don't even want to come by with it. What you talking about, though? Why you so
one time for the ring.
It don't matter.
That shit weak as hell.
So you mad because, how much can you find out you know I got the money, bro? What you doing, bro? You gonna throw my shit? You really finna throw my shit out the window? That's crazy, dog. Like you really, bro, look at her crazy ass.
About none of this shit.
Look, dog, you really throwing my shit out the house and cutting my shit up, bro. Tracy, what did you? I'm saying, so you mad about?
So what, you finna go to your mama house or what?
No, I'm not going nowhere. Why you?
Here?
So what are you? Can we talk? I'm asking you, what are you mad for? Why you cutting my shit? Why you cutting my shit? Why is you cutting up my? No, I'm
I
asking
asked
because we
you for
talk.
money
You
one
said
time for $500 and you couldn't give me that shit.
okay, because so you mad? Okay, I can't. How am gonna give you money? Oh, look, man. Oh, why you tripping, bro? Why are you tripping, man? You tripping, man? You good, man? Why you say trying to fight me? Why you trying to fight me, bro?
How many?
You said no, that don't make no sense, bro. You study trying to fight me, bro. Like why you taking
out my house?
No, for what though?
Get the fuck out.
It's $500. You know I ain't got no money. That's why I don't even what you tripping for. You up here throwing shit around. Always wanna. That shit don't make no sense, bro. You cutting my shit, bro. You still look at her, bro. She talks about shit. Look at her. Just motherfucker, bitter ass, bro. Just always bitter ass, throwing shit. But you with me for 4 years.
Okay.
You with me for 4 years though. You with me for 4 years. Crazy. I ain't gotta shut up and do shit. I gotta listen. Give a fuck about no ugly shit. I don't give a fuck about nothing ugly. I never put my hands on you though. What are you talking about?
You did. You
I never put my. I'm not. You tried to push through me. You cut my clothes and threw my shit out the window. Talking about some fucking pushing thing. You still got a fucking knife in your hand, bro.
Don't say
like, I ain't even with you now. You study cutting shit up, bro. Like, look at her crazy ass, bro. I don't even make. Look how crazy she is, dog. She mad because she asked me to give her $500. How am I gonna give her $500 for rent if I don't got it? How is you mad about that? You really cutting my shit? Look at you. Just look, y'all. Look at her crazy ass. I'm gonna show this to the police. Then what she gonna do? Talking about you. She said she gonna. She said it don't matter. She said.
You see how he is? You heard her saying that she's put money on his books when he was in jail and all that kind of stuff, and he's just trying to bring her down. That's why he's recording her. See, since more and more Keishas have clocked out of Blackistan, let me tell you something. There has been an uptick in immediate family violence in the Black community. Young men are deleting their parents, typically after they demanded for them to move out and stop mooching off of them. Adult siblings are fighting each other and brandishing firearms against each other. Cousins are arguing with cousins, aunts and uncles with nephews, and the list goes on. As much as Blackistan encourages the average Keisha like this lady in this video to tolerate a grown man who doesn't want to work, who doesn't want to get married, who cheats and lies. I don't know if he was cheating and lying, but I'm just going down what's average and typical. You best believe his own family won't tolerate his behind. And you best believe that his family members are very quick to act out and kick the dude out of their house when he pulls his dusty antics on him. And things have worsened because once blood relatives say they are done with him, he has nowhere else to go but to the streets or to the prison. And now this lady is kicking him out. So he's really not going to have anywhere to go except to the streets and to prison unless he gets his act together. So let's continue to watch.
She said she gonna call my PO. Yeah, okay. She said she gonna call my PO and tell him that I put my hands on him. This the bullshit that me and go. Listen, this the bullshit me and go. Listen. That's why I'm. Look, see what I'm saying?
And I ain't putting shit on your books.
That's all good. But you see what I'm saying, y'all? See what I'm saying though? All I did was block her from getting the knife and cut my shit up. Then I let her go get the knife and she cut my shit up still. Look at this shit, dog. Why is you doing this? You feel better now?
Shut the
Do you feel better now?
For real.
You feel better now?
Come on, get your shit so you can go.
It's all. Can you just get away from me with the knife?
Get your shit so you can
It's all
go.
good. I'm gonna get my shit.
Okay.
Crazy ass. Look, crazy as a. Look at that. That's all nobody wanna. I'm the only that's gonna deal with your weird ass. Oh, weird ass. Man, I'm here cutting this shit up. Then she think another gonna deal. I'm the only to deal with that shit. I don't even want this shit. It don't even matter. My fucking keys at. My keys. Look at your ass. It don't matter. I got everything on camera already.
You trying to record?
I got everything on camera already.
Man,
Look at crazy ass. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna slide though. I'm gonna leave. It's all good. The police will be back. Man,
it's harsh. You know, she did it a harsh way. Me personally, I just would have just told him to get out and keep it moving. But I understand her frustration. It's harsh. Because, see, the average rent in the U.S. right now is nearly $1,400 a month. So basically, she hasn't even asked him for half of the rent. If she's paying $1,400 a month and all she asked him for was $500, she basically asked him for a third of the rent. And he couldn't even come up with that. That's $125 per week for a roof over your head, okay? From the way things look, she does not appear to be broke. Her hair is done. She dresses nice. Her apartment is clean and well furnished. And here he is, this big and overgrown Dusty, wanting to dent up her furniture, eat up her food, and not even come through with $500? You got to be kidding me. So he's going to go right back to his mama. And it probably won't be long before he and his mama are disagreeing before he finally seeks out his dad and his dad's girlfriend for a place to live. Dusties do not fall too far from the tree. So if you see a Dusty, chances are high that his dad is a Dusty too. So since Keisha has moved on and decided, to put up boundaries, and one of those boundaries is that she's going to measure every man by the same standard, meaning that no matter how he appears, in order for him to be considered a mate, he needs to prove his ability to provide for her and their children, protect her and their children, produce opportunities for her and their children. This singular act has excluded her beneficiaries, her secondary beneficiaries, with the exception to her actual children. The Dusties and all of these secondhand folks have been cut off, and the Down a Black Woman movement on YouTube and other platforms have had a strong influence in doing so. So I'm actually thankful. For, Crimson Cures and the Kevin Samuels and the Tommy Sotomayars, because what they've done is shown how far this is going to go with them. There's no redemption there. Okay. So as a result, these Dusty catering platforms are feeling the earthquake too, and they are surprised, they're shocked. And here's why they are shocked. One of the things that is showing is that these platforms don't have an economic acumen. They don't have a financial acumen, not when it comes to understanding your audience and understanding who is lining the pockets of your business. Because see, here's why. If you have a group of people who are not breadwinners, okay, so they're not bringing in the finances. They're also not homemakers, so they're not managing the finances. They're not in an executive position in their homes or in their households. They are neither producing an income or managing it. Essentially, these Bash a Black Woman platforms, their audience is filled with people who are in a childlike position. It is like having an audience of children who needs their parents' permission in order to access your services. So for instance, Disney, Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, and so forth, they have to be careful about the influence that they have on their platforms, because their viewership is dependent upon daddy bringing in the money and paying the cell phone bill and paying the internet bill. And also it's depending on mommy approving of the content on the children's channel before they're able to watch it. Otherwise, mommy can put a password on the Wi-Fi, deny the kids access to the cell phones, and use the money instead to buy DVDs that she approves for her children to watch. Likewise, with the modern Black woman or the devil, the things they be saying to us, those type of podcasts, what they fail to realize is that it was our bank accounts that possessed the money that paid for the laptops, the cell phones, the electricity, the Wi-Fi, and the other resources that many Dusties rely upon in order to listen to and in order to access their content. Many Dusties do not have valid identification or steady and legal stream of income, so it's difficult for them to have a bank account that is in their own name. They can't even buy alcohol and cigarettes because, again, many of them do not possess valid IDs. Either they don't have them or they're expired. Therefore, it is difficult for them to send funds electronically unless they have assistance. And who did the main source of assistance come from? It has been Keisha, the average Black woman, and her little degree, along with her little and meaningless and insignificant career. It was Keisha who added the Dusty's phone line to her cell phone plan and paid the bill regularly. Think about it. How is someone who cries about having to pay $25 total per week to multiple baby mamas, how is that person going to obtain a $1,500 cell phone and then turn around and keep up the monthly payments along with a place to stay and so forth? See, it was Keisha. So what these platforms have shown and what they've essentially done by devaluing our worth as Black women is bite the acrylic fingernails off of the hands that were feeding them. So if the last winter was tough on a lot of these people, then this winter is going to be especially cold and frigid. Personally, I think that Miss Crimson Cure, okay, she's either going to shift her platform into a different direction, or she's going to grab this last bag before heading for the hills, because it won't be long before her audience is struggling to tune into her content. By the way, she's nobody's fool. She's nobody's fool at all. Crimson Cure, I heard, is from Chicago. And if that's true, you can find Dusties at regular intervals on the Dan Ryan, bumming motorists for spare change. She saw them freezing last winter. So she knows what it really looks like to try to struggle by one of their sides. They'll have you living beneath they'll have you living in a tent beneath an overpass, if you're lucky. Some of the tents are out in the open. Now, I'm not making fun of people being homeless. I'm not. Homelessness is an unfortunate plight, and there are legit things that can cause people to be homeless, but that's not the case with the Dusty. The Dusty is homeless because, they don't want to follow rules. They don't want to, they don't think that fat means greasy. They don't believe in consequences. So when people kick them out, that's when the reality hits them, and even then they don't want to do what's necessary to do better for themselves. So I'm not making fun of people that are legit homeless. I'm poking at the Dusties, you understand? So Kendra D, Crimson Cure, she's not a fool. She's not a fool. Especially if she's from Chicago. No way. So, and then think about it. She practices a lifestyle that makes it mandatory for men to be providers and encourages education and entrepreneurship among the followers. So it speaks to what I was mentioning earlier about how Blackistan expects the average Keisha to put up with some dusty nonsense. However, the ones that are encouraging it, they will not tolerate a Dusty for 30 seconds themselves. I'm telling you. I know she's not going to be out there in a tent beneath the overpass on the Dan Ryan next to those Dusties. She's not. So that's all I have to say for now. Please be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and click the notifications bell so you'll know whenever I upload any new content.